The entire basketball world is wondering where in God's name is Kevin Durant going to end up. We had heard that he was out of New York. He was out of Brooklyn. Kevin Durant is no longer going to be a Brooklyn Net. He asked for his trade. But ever since then, ever since the first day of free agency at the end of June, it's been crickets. This past week, there were reports that maybe the Boston Celtics would be interested in KD. Those talks have been reported on, but seemingly have not materialized into much. It was also reported this week that the Nets star Kevin Durant requested a trade while he requested a trade in June, he is now apparently going to meet with the Nets owner Joe Tsai, and a meeting should at least offer some modicum of clarity of the situation moving forward. This is according to one report. And here is the quote from Heavy Sports exactly. Quote, what I'm hearing is that KD is going to meet with the owner this week. He's going to go directly to the owner, Joe Tsai, sometime this week, and we'll see how it works out. So this meeting with the owner means one of two things. And I think the first one we already kind of know. The Nets don't have an offer on the board that they like, and they're looking for help from Kevin to figure out and work this out. Or number two, they've decided we don't want it. We don't want to do it. KD, you still got 2 years left on your contract that you're still able to play. Sorry, 3, I believe. Why in God's name would we trade you? You are Kevin freaking Durant. That's why I'm thinking this has dragged on for well over a month now. Kevin Durant, the talks are still going on. Like summer leagues happened already. Like we're not that far away. I know football season hasn't really officially started up yet, but we are not that far away from the start of the NBA calendar season. Like the preseason starts in October. We are not that far away from the NBA starting up and the 2022 league year starting up. And it seems like nothing has happened with this Kevin Durant situation. And honestly, there's a lot of dominoes that have not fallen yet. The Kyrie domino has not fallen. The KD domino has not fallen. The Russell Westbrook domino has not fallen. There's a lot of things that are still up in the air as far as the National Basketball Association and the entire paradigm of the NBA moving forward. Like, any of these guys switching teams is an automatic paradigm shift for the NBA. And the fact that that they haven't, Donovan Mitchell, another guy, right? The fact that none of these players have moved, I think shows you how teams are kind of looking at these situations, right? They're looking at Donovan Mitchell, the Jazz are, and a guy that, you know what? We just gave this guy like a 5-year contract. And we don't see an offer out there that we necessarily are really happy to pull the trigger on. Let's give it a year. They have a guy in Kevin Durant, right? Kevin Durant, granted an older player, Kevin Durant, who perennial MVP, scoring machine, one of probably the best pound for pound scorer in the NFL, or sorry, in the NBA, I should say. They have him locked up minimum where they can trade him for 2 years. If the Nets don't have an offer on the table that they like, I mean, we still have you, right? You're still here, right? You're under contract. You're not going anywhere. So, yeah, cool. We'll wait till we get an offer that we like, and we'll keep selling your jersey and at least making some money. I really think there are some owners that are kind of coming to that realization, and maybe Joe Tsai is one of them. And do not be surprised if Kevin Durant, at least for next year, or starts off the year at least playing for the Brooklyn Nets, or at least still being with the Brooklyn Nets. Because I do think that after some of these, these trade, I don't even know what to call them, because you know when you sign a free agent, right, and you can't trade him at least for like the first half of the season or whatever, or the first 6 months of the contract. I do think once those expire, once you have people like DeAndre Ayton on the board, when you have people, when you have people like Bam Adebayo, when you have people on the board that the teams are willing to part with, and assets that the Nets are willing to want to get back in return, or the Jazz want to get back in return for Donovan Mitchell. Once you have those pieces on the table, for the Nets, for teams like the Jazz, the entire landscape changes because you're automatically able to get much more in return for Kevin Durant than you have right now. Right now, it's not a good market to trade KD, if I'm being totally honest with you. Unless if you're the Nets and you get Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart and a few first-round picks in exchange for KD, if I'm the Celtics, I'm doing that. Honestly. If I'm the Celtics. If you're a Celtic, you probably shouldn't do that. But if I'm the Nets and the Celtics, a team that I play multiple times a year that is in my conference says, hey, I'm willing to trade these two young superstars, these two young bucks, these two young dogs over to you for KD, that's the offer I'm looking for, right? If you don't have the Miami offer on the table, if you don't have the Suns offer on the table, hell yeah. I want me some Marcus Smart. I want the reigning defensive player of the year on my team. I want a great guy, a great young superstar like Jaylen Brown, who you could say outplayed Jason Tatum, who is viewed as the superstar on the Boston Celtics in the playoffs. I want those guys on my team. And if I have to trade away Kevin Durant, if I know KD's not going to re-sign, he's not the long-term answer here. I just found mine in those two. And then whatever the hell else I get over the next few years. Because once you have Jaylen Brown, once you have Marcus Smart, you become a destination for other young talent because they want to play with great players. They want to play in a big market in New York. You got it right there. Now, if I'm the Nets, right, and I know that apparently the Celtics that's the big hang-up. They're willing to part with Jaylen Brown. They're not willing to part with both Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart. If I'm the Celtics, then you really have to reassess how serious you are about trading for KD. Hey everyone, we hope you liked this video. If you did, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Until next time, keep it real.